Hello students, welcome to Tunga PU College Jamkhandi online classes. Chemistry class, chemical bonding lesson is going on. This is lecture 8. In previous lectures we have seen Cox's theory, Lewis theory and then octet theory. Okay, and lastly we have seen that octet theory or Lewis theory, whichever, they cannot explain shape of the molecule. That were the limitations of those theories. Those theories cannot explain the shapes of the molecules. And let us move towards today's topic. Today's topic is VSEPR theory. VSEPR theory importance is, this is the theory which predict the shapes of the molecules. Okay, so VSEPR theory, what is importance of this theory? Previous Lewis theory or octet theory which were unable to tell or which were unable to explain the shapes of the molecules, this VSEPR theory predicts the shapes of the molecules. See, VSEPR theory is going to only predict. It will only tell, predict the shape. VSEPR theory do not explain the shapes, only predicts the shapes accurately. After VSEPR theory, we are going to see VBT theory. VBT theory explains the shapes of the molecules. Explanation of the shape is given by VBT, which is our next theory. After VBT, MOT, and then the lesson is going to finish. Okay, so we are now in VSEPR theory. Okay, so what I have written on the board, see students, I wrote that Lewis theory, octet theories are unable to explain the shapes of the molecules, which are predicted by this VSEPR theory, which is our today's topic. So what is long form of VSEPR theory, students? VSEPR means valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. Of course you know that there is valence shell. What is meaning of valence shell? Outermost orbit is called as valence shell. In that outermost orbit, electron pairs are present. Okay, that is valence shell electron pairs. Valence shell, outermost shell, electron pairs present in that valence shell electron pairs. That electron pairs repel each other. Okay, and this theory is regarding that repulsion. So the name of this theory is VSEPR theory, that is valence shell electron pairs, valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. Okay. So let us move towards the main postulates of VSEPR theory, which is a very important question. I have written here star. Okay, students, always remember, whichever exam will be there, unit test, midterm or it is annual exam, 100% question will be asked. What are the postulates of VSEPR theory? Molecules will be asked in VBT theory, next theory. Postulates of VSEPR will be asked. So let us first understand what these postulates are. So let us move towards main postulates of VSEPR theory. First postulate. Postulate means what is there in this theory. How this theory predict the shape of the molecules. Okay. So the postulate first is, of course, regarding the shape, because the importance of VSEPR theory is, this is the theory which predict the shape of the molecule. So the shape of the molecule depends upon what is told by first postulate. It states that the shape of the molecule depends on number of valence shell electron pairs. How many electron pairs are there in valence shell? Outermost shell, how many electron pairs are there? Number. On that shape is predicted. Okay. How? That all we'll see after main postulate. I will tell you how exactly shape prediction is done, and then we'll see ample of examples to understand that. So let us now first finish all the postulates of VSEPR theory. So the first postulate is, the shape of the molecule is predicted or it depends upon the number of valence shell electron pairs. How many electron pairs are there? Number. Okay. So what I am writing here, main postulate, first postulate I am writing, the shape of a molecule depends upon the number of shape depends upon what, student? Shape depends upon number. Means how many valence shell electron pairs are there. How many electron pairs are there in outermost shell? Now which electron pairs? Number of valence shell electron pairs. Electron pairs can be bonded or non-bonded, both. Of course, around the central atom. Of course, we have to count number of electron pairs. Electron pairs can be bonded electron pairs. Electron pairs can be non-bonded. What do you mean by bonded, non-bonded? The electron pairs which are taking part in bond formation are called as bonded. Which are not taking part are called as non-bonded. How many electron pairs are there around the central atom? The shape of the molecule depends on that number. How? We'll see afterwards. So first postulate, I hope you understood very well. The shape of the molecule depends upon number of valence shell electron pairs, bonded or non-bonded, around the central atom. Second postulate, see students. Second postulate states that pairs of electrons repel each other as their electron clouds are negatively charged. See students, what is given? Second postulate states that pairs of electrons repel each other. First thing, why they repel? Why don't they attract? Always remember students that same charges repel each other, opposite charges attract each other. And you know that all electrons are having, whether it is bonded electron pairs or non-bonded, all electrons always have negative charge, and that's why pairs of electrons, whichever pairs they will be having negative charge, so they will repel each other. Same charges repel each other. Pairs of electron always repel each other as their electron clouds are negatively charged, because so many electron pairs will be there. All electron pair clouds will be negative. Same charges repel each other, so they will be repelling each other. Here student, pairs of electron repel each other as their electron clouds. Word I have used. What do you mean by electron clouds? Generally we use the word electrons. Okay. Electron clouds means students, here we are not considering single electron. We are considering so many electron pairs. All pairs of electron, bonded electron pairs as well as non-bonded. So many electron pairs are there, means there is a group of electrons. So for group of electrons we are using the word electron clouds. Okay. So you understood that so many electron pairs will be there, all will be negatively charged, so they will be repelling each other. Okay. Third postulate, these pairs of electrons tend to occupy such positions in space. They tend to occupy such positions in space to minimize repulsion and thus maximize distance between them. Now see students, what I have written here, these electron pairs, now they are repelling each other. All postulates one after the other related to each other. There exists repulsion. So what will happen? Now all these valence shell outermost orbit has so many electron pairs. All these electron pairs clouds are negatively charged. Same charges repel each other. That's why they are repelling each other. Now as they are repelling each other, what does these electron pairs do? These pairs of electrons have a tendency. They tend to occupy such positions in space. How they will occupy the positions in space? So as to minimize repulsion, because repulsion should not be there. Already repulsion is there. But these electron pairs try to minimize the repulsion. Nobody wants repulsion, is it? So these electron pair tries to minimize. Minimize means decrease. These electron pairs tries to minimize repulsion. Electron pairs, they want to reduce repulsion. Now how can they reduce the repulsion, or how can they minimize this repulsion? So already you know that students, if distance is more, repulsion will be, distance increases, distance between the electron pairs or negative charges will be more, then repulsion will be less. Okay, so they try to minimize repulsion by maximizing the distance between them. Okay, they will increase the distance between them. Like this, they will decrease the repulsion. One simple experiment you can perform. Bring two magnets close to each other. Two magnets were very much away from each other. There was no forces existing between them. But if you will bring the magnets very close to each other, then you can see that they are repelling each other. When they are repelling, when they will come close to each other, okay, same poles you will bring close, they start repelling each other. Why? Distance becomes less. If they will same charges come very close, distance is less, then repulsion will be more. So what do these electron pairs do? These electron pairs always have a tendency to occupy such positions in space so that repulsion is minimum, and that's why they keep themselves away from each other, that is maximize the distance between them. As the distance will be more, if distance between electron pairs will be more, repulsion will be less. Okay, I hope student third postulate you understood very well. There exists repulsion. So what happened? So electron pairs tend to occupy such positions in space so as to minimize repulsion, and repulsion is minimized, decreased by increasing distance between them. Okay, like that they will increase the distance and repulsion becomes minimum. Okay. Now see here student, always valence shell. Now how it exactly happens? How they will minimize repulsion? By maximizing distance. Always remember student, valence shell is considered, or it is treated as a sphere. Of course you know that it is spherically in shape. Valence shell is considered as a sphere, and then electron pairs. are localized on this spherical shape with maximum distance. Like this, electron pairs will not keep very close to each other. We'll keep them away from each other. Okay, electron pairs always like this, away from each other. Will not keep all close. Okay, all on one side. Why? Because distance should be maximum for minimum repulsion. This is our fourth postulate. So fourth postulate, student, I am writing. Valence shell is treated as a sphere. Valence shell is treated as a sphere, and electron pairs are localized on this spherical region, where electron pairs are localized on this spherical region, maximum away from each other. Understood? Fourth postulate. They tend to minimize repulsion by maximizing distance. How it happens? Valence shell is treated as a sphere and electron pairs are localized on the spherical region with maximum away from each other. Okay, maximum distance will be kept. They are localized on the spherical region with maximum distance between them. Okay. Yes, these were first four main postulates. Let us move towards fifth postulate, students. What does this fifth postulate tell? Fifth postulate is regarding multiple bonds. According to VSEPR theory, see students, according to VSEPR theory, multiple bond is treated as single electron pair. In VSEPR theory, students understand this postulate properly. Multiple bond you have to treat as single electron pair. What do you mean by multiple bond? There are two types of bonds, single bond, multiple bond. Single bond means single electron pair will be shared. Single bond will be there. Multiple means either two bonds will be there, double bond or triple bond will be there. Double bond or triple bond together, they are called as multiple bonds. So under multiple bond comes double bond or triple bond. In VSEPR theory, multiple bond is treated as single electron pair. Okay, so in VSEPR theory, two types are not there, single bond, double bond, triple bond, no. In VSEPR theory, multiple bonds are also considered as single electron pair. Then what is the difference between single electron pair and these multiple bonds in VSEPR theory? In VSEPR theory, single electron pair that remains as it is. But if multiple bonds are there, then these multiple bonds, multiple means double bond has 2 electron pairs, triple bond has 3 electron pairs. These electron pairs are considered as single super pair. single pair but super pair. Single pair is as single pair only, but if double bond is there, it is called as not two electron pairs. It is called as single super pair. If triple bond is there, it is not called as three electron pairs. It is called as single super electron pair. Okay, so multiple bond is treated as single electron pair. That is, multiple bond means what, student? That is double or triple electron pairs are treated as single but super pair. Understood? If double or triple electron pair is there, it is called single pair but super pair. Okay. So while counting electron pairs, double bond don't count two electron pairs. You have to consider double bond as single pair. Triple bond as also single pair. Okay. Let us move towards sixth postulate of VSEPR theory. Now, if a molecule has two or more resonance structure, if a molecule explains, or if a molecule has two or more resonance structures, resonance structure topic is already over. We have seen that ozone has canonical structures. Two canonical structures we have seen for ozone structure. Okay. So if a molecule has two, carbon dioxide we have seen three resonance structures. So any molecule if has two or more than two resonance structures, then VSEPR theory is applicable to any of the structure. Okay, it's not that it is applicable to only one structure. Whichever resonance structure, VSEPR theory is applicable to it. Okay. So sixth postulate I am writing: if a molecule has two or more than two, what resonance structures? Resonance structures. Then VSEPR theory is applicable to any structure. Okay, whichever structure, whichever resonance structure it may be, resonance theory will be applicable to that. Okay, and let us move towards last postulate of VSEPR theory, and this last postulate is again very important postulate, and it is again regarding the repulsion, because this theory itself is regarding repulsion. What this theory last postulate tells: order how decreases repulsion. Now we have seen that there is repulsion between electron pairs. Which electron pairs? Valential electron pairs. Which are valential electron pairs? There may be bonding or non-bonding electron pairs. Between bonding and non-bonding electron pairs, what is order of repulsion? That is given by the last postulate. So what last postulate states? See here, 7th postulate I am writing: repulsion between electron pairs has order. Which order is there? Here I will write repulsion. Writing repulsion is very important. Here lone pair, repulsion is more than lone pair bond pair, than bond pair. what you understood students here? Repulsion exists between electron pairs, all valential electron pairs repelling each other. But between them, which order is there? Always remember student, the repulsion between lone pair will be highest as compared to lone pair than bond pair. Okay, student generally does mistake that they will write only this last line. Lone pair is greater than lone pair is greater than bond pair. But the word repulsion is very important. What is more, what is less? You must explain. Of course, I know that VSEPR theory is regarding the repulsion, but sentence must come properly. Repulsion has order. Lone pair is greater than lone pair is greater than bond pair. How will you remember this, students? Here. Bond pair students. You know bonds very well. Chemical bonding lesson itself is going on. So you know that whenever a bond is formed, there exists a force of attraction. First lecture only I have told you the definition of chemical bonds. There we have seen that chemical bond, there exists a force of attraction. So in bond pair, bond is formed means there is force of attraction. So repulsion will be minimum. So bond pair always keep at the last. Okay, there exists attraction. Okay, again, why lone pair repulsion is more as compared to lone pair as compared to bond pair? One more thing, try to understand. Now valence shell has lone pairs also, bond pairs also. You know the difference between them. Bond pairs means the pairs which take part in bond formation or which takes part in sharing, and non-bonded electron pairs means which do not take part. Non-bonded are lone pairs, okay, which don't take part in bond formation. Now students, lone pairs are surrounding one center or surrounding one nucleus because they are not taking part in bond formation. They are surrounding or they are having one center, they are surrounding one nucleus, monocentric. But bonded electron pairs, bond pairs, they are forming bonds, they are doing sharing. Okay, they are forming bond, so they are shared between two nucleus. Okay, non-bonded or lone pairs are having only one nucleus, but bonded are shared between two atoms. So they are between two nucleus, they are having two nuclei, and that's why lone pairs are always away from each other because they are having only one nucleus. So they are little away from each other. They are occupying maximum distance. As distance will be more, repulsion, okay, more. Okay, they will come close and repulsion will be more. Okay, that's why you can think that repulsion is highest in lone pair. What I told, lone pairs are having single nucleus, bond pairs are having more than one nucleus, and that's why lone pairs are away from each other, attracted by only one nucleus. No sharing is there, or they are not involved in bond formation, so they will be little away from each other, and away from each other means distance less, repulsion more. Okay, so that is the reason why repulsion between lone pair is maximum. Like this, students, we have seen all the main postulates of VSEPR theory. Mark here, student, this is the one of the very important question, and let us now see how VSEPR theory predict the shape of the molecule. Main postulates over. Let us move towards next part. Yes, students. So let us see exactly how VSEPR theory predicts the shape of the molecule. Okay. So postulates just now over. Know exactly how prediction is done. Shape how predicted by VSEPR theory, that we are going to see. Students, first the thing should be clear that VSEPR theory only predicts the shape of the molecule. It do not explain the shape of the molecule. Only prediction is done. So a limitation of VSEPR theory, we are going to see that this theory predicts the shape of the molecule but do not explains the shape. So next theory will explain the shape. So in this theory, now we will see how to predict the shape of the molecule. Now to understand prediction of the shape, first molecules are categorized into two types. See here what I have written. Now predicting shape of the molecule. Shape is also called as geometry. Okay, shape and geometry meaning is same. Predicting shape or geometry of molecule, of course according to VSEPR theory. This now we will see. Now to understand this geometry or shape, molecules are first classified into two types according to VSEPR theory. The molecules in which central atom has no lone pairs and the molecules in which central atom has lone pairs. Okay, for both things, molecules, two types of molecules, without lone pairs, with lone pairs, rules are different for predicting the shapes. So one by one we'll see the things, we'll see ample of examples to understand that. So here I have written that molecules are divided into two categories for predicting shapes. Which two categories? Of course, molecules in which central atom has no lone pairs and molecules in which central atom has lone pairs. Okay, based on that rules are different. So let us see. Students, let us move from some very easy category towards little difficult. Okay, so let us start with this. So first I will teach you how predict the shape of the molecules in which central atom has no lone pairs. Lone pairs only not there. Only which pairs are there? Bonding electron pairs are there. Electron pairs two type, bonding, non-bonding. Non-bonding are called as lone pairs. And here lone pairs will not be there. Such molecule, how geometry is predicted, that we'll see. The molecules which don't have lone pairs, their shape how is predicted, that we'll see. Now let us see if the molecule is of type AB2. Okay, if molecule is AB2 type. AB2 type molecule means what? This is generally molecules are written AB2, AB3 type. Okay, we have to compare the molecules with these molecules. For example, we'll see all examples afterwards. First understand this. AB2. AB2, in that who is central? So AB2 molecule, I will draw the diagram for your understanding. AB2 molecules here. A at the center I am showing A and two other molecules will be there. This is AB2 type of molecule. This what? Central atom I will always show by black color. Okay student? And other atoms I will show, or bonding atoms I will show by red color. Is it okay? Now you will understand AB2. In this molecule A is central, B2 are bonding atoms. Okay. AB2 type of molecule. What type of structure I have drawn, student? This type of structure is called as ball and stick model. It is called as ball and stick model. You can see balls and sticks. Ball and stick type of model I have drawn. If molecule is AB2 type of molecule, then its geometry or then its shape is predicted as linear. You can see in diagram very well that this molecule is linear. Single line you can see linear shape. So geometry predicted is linear. Understood? When you have to predict like this, if molecule is AB2 type, for example BeCl2, BeCl2, here BeCl2, AB2 type of molecule is there. Lone pair is not there, and that's why directly you can predict the shape of. For example, question is asked what is shape of BeCl2 molecule. You know that in BeCl2 molecule, central atom is Be, no lone pair is there. BeCl2 is similar to AB2, so directly you can predict the shape as linear. Okay, all these examples again we'll see in next class. First, understand the all molecules. So AB2 molecule, ball and stick model shows you geometry linear, or geometry means shape. If molecule is of AB3 type, Student, now I am teaching you the molecules in which central atom has no lone pairs, without lone pairs. AB3 type of molecule is there. Then how I will draw the diagram? See student, A is central and B3. Central atom I am showing by black color. And looking towards ball and stick model, you can predict the geometry or shape. AB3 type of molecule has shape as trigonal planar. It has shape trigonal planar. Can you see? Trigonal, triangular shape is there on one plane. It is a plane. Okay, trigonal planar it is called. Don't say only trigonal. In trigonal again types are there, that you will understand afterwards. Now understand, you have to write trigonal planar. Planar means on a plane. So it is called as trigonal planar. If molecule is AB4 type, okay, trigonal planar, which example you can tell? For example, geometry is as BF3 molecule. BF3. Boron trifluoride. BF3. You can compare that. AB3 type is there. Directly you can predict the geometry as trigonal planar. If molecule is AB4. AB4 molecule I will draw like this. Central atom A. Central atom A is shown here. Surrounding that 4B are there. And these 4B will arrange themselves in space in such a way to form tetrahedron. So geometry becomes tetrahedral geometry. Okay. Tetrahedral geometry. Which example you can see, you can think of for AB4 molecule, students? For example, methane molecule. Methane means CH4. Is it CH4? Central atom A means CH4. Okay, carbon also in CH4, carbon also don't have any lone pair. And directly CH4 means you can predict its geometry as tetrahedral. Sometimes question will be asked for 1 mark. What is the geometry of methane molecule? Methane directly predicting geometry you can do by BACPR theory. Okay. So which example I told you for AB2 molecule, strand? BeCl2. BeCl2. Linear geometry. BF3. BF3. Trigonal planar. Methane. CH4. CH4. Tetrahedral geometry. Like this, molecules geometry, shape can be predicted very easily by BACPR theory. This is the most important point for BACPR theory. Let us move towards next. See students, I am teaching you now the molecules in which central atom has no lone pairs. So till that, okay, I am not teaching you this. Still we are continuing with no lone pairs. Fourth is AB. Okay, I am not telling you this. Still this is only going on. AB, you write below this only. Okay. AB5. AB5 molecule, how I will draw, students? AB5. Now see, in AB5 molecule geometry you have to guess. AB5, central atom is A. Consider A as like this. A. B5, other atoms are 5. How these 5 B will arrange themselves? See. Surrounding A, 3 will be there, forming a triangle. Can you imagine? Everybody has to imagine properly. A as the central, 3B forming a triangle. Triangle, can you imagine? One triangle is there. Okay. Triangle, at the center of the triangle A is there. Now, still how many B's are left? 2 B's are left. Total B are 5. 3 B's forming a triangle, A at the center. Now 1 B at the top forming a pyramid. 1 B is up, forming a triangular pyramid upside. Last B is at the down, forming a pyramid downside. Okay, like this AB5 will arrange itself. I hope you understood. How are AB5? A at the center. Where are 5? 3 forming a triangle. 1, 2, 3 forming a triangle. This triangle is forming one pyramid up. 4th B at the tip. 4th B. This triangle is forming one pyramid down. At the last point there is 5th B. Okay, like this 5B will arrange themselves. Now what becomes the shape? Trigonal bipyramidal. Two pyramids are formed, so it is called as bipyramidal. I hope you understood the things well. AB5, what geometry will write? See here, A is the center. You can see triangle here. Then 1B upside and 1B is downside. Okay. Central atom I have shown by black color. B molecules. You can show very well like this. Okay, this is forming one triangle. Okay. Imagine like this. This one triangle will be there. One triangle you can imagine forming one pyramid up, one pyramid down. Two pyramids are formed, so bipyramidal. Middle shape is trigonal. So geometry I am writing trigonal bipyramidal. AB5 molecule geometry PCl5. You can take example. Okay, we'll see examples again in next class. AB5 geometry will be trigonal bipyramidal. Trigonal middle shape is triangle. Two pyramids forming, so it is called as bipyramidal. Let us move towards AB6, last molecule. AB6. AB6 molecule, how it is? It will be there, students. Just imagine. Now whatever I have told you for AB5, same you have to consider. But instead of middle triangle, now consider middle will be square. Okay, middle square consider. Square forming one pyramid up and one pyramid down. Square means A at the center. 4B forming a square. Square forming one pyramid up. Here 5th B. And square forming one pyramid down. There last B. Like this shape will be there. Okay, so I am writing this. See here, E at the center. One up and one down. Okay, this is forming one square. And this forms one pyramid up, one pyramid down. I hope you understood, students, what is AB6, how A and 6B will arrange themselves. 4B will forming a square surrounding the A. So middle shape is square. Okay, middle shape square, one pyramid up, one pyramid down. Now what is this geometry called? Always remember, student, don't call this geometry as square bipyramidal. Before we have written trigonal bipyramidal. Here, this type of geometry in which square is in the middle and two pyramids are up and down, that geometry is called as octahedral. It is called as octahedral. Why it is called octahedral, students? Because oct means what, student? Oct means 8. 8 faces will be there. Imagine middle square, imagine one pyramid up. One pyramid up means 4 faces. One pyramid down, 4 faces. Total faces becomes 8. So it is called as octahedral. Okay. So here I told you how to predict the geometry of the molecules in which central atom has no lone pairs. Directly VSEPR theory predicts the geometry. AB2 molecule linear, AB3 trigonal planar, AB4 tetrahedral, AB5 trigonal bipyramidal, AB6 octahedral. Like this VSEPR theory predicts the geometry of the molecule. In next class, students will see examples of same molecules with no lone pairs. After finishing examples, we will move towards the molecules in which central atom has lone pairs. Okay. So till that, writing do properly. Okay. See you soon.